Hello there, beautiful souls and beautiful humans. How are you doing? Rosanna Rosie Glow Hannis here, Channel of Divine Grace, Galactic Code Keeper, Paradise Earth Keeper, and I am here today to speak with you about Atlantis, about the Paradise Earth Codes, about how our pre-birth and earliest life influences are related to us unlocking our memory of our time in Atlantis, and also how the father wound and, in fact, the whole issue around patriarchy is related to our liberation, and why we're being called at this very time to come together, those of us who are heeding the call to activate the Paradise Earth Codes, not just in parts of the world and in land that is ready to reactivate, but also in those of us who I call the divine humans, those of us ready to activate our soul consciousness fully in our human physical reality, and to allow our soul self, our higher self, to lead the way, because there is no map for this other than the map that's inside of us and the star maps we have been given. And if you're new to me, you may not know that I was given the message back in 2020 that in our universe, the light has won. The war is over. Star Wars is over. It is time for star peace. And I am a consciousness that transmits the frequencies of the intergalactic super federation known as the Star Peace Codes. And these Star Peace Codes are essentially the evolution for humanity and this planet into a peace-loving, harmonious orchestra, if you like, of individual beings coming together, individual puzzle pieces ready to co-create the image that is a paradise, a personal and a collective paradise, and therefore to evolve beyond conflict, beyond struggle, beyond lack, beyond suffering, into a Thrive paradigm where we learn to live and to co-create in physical. It's still a big training and learning ground. It's just we're going to be learning through love rather than through fear. So if you like the sound of that and you would like to participate in this co-creation, please do subscribe, do hit the notifications tab, and do also hit the all videos option so that you know every time I'm here, because usually I show up live when I've got some inspiration. Now, at the time that I am making this video, we are just on the run up to the full moon in Libra. I did just do a video yesterday with the Uranus and Venus conjunction, and it was all about basically when you're not in control, it's your soul. Now, as we come into the full moon in Libra, and this is relevant because I'll explain in a moment how all of this relates to Atlantis, we are moving into healing issues around relationship conflict, our relationship to ourselves, our relationship to the divine, and our relationship to each other and our planet. So that's all coming up as we move into Libra. And the next full moon after is going to be the full moon in Scorpio. And that is when I am going to be in Greece, on the island of Santorini, with those of you who have heeded the call to come together to work with the energies of Beltane, which is May Day, and the frequencies of Father Sky and Mother Earth uniting and healing and, beautifully bringing their energies together to co-create a whole new paradigm, and then working with the full moon energy in Scorpio to draw out all of the toxicity, to love up the toxicity around the wounded masculine and the wounded feminine, the mother and the father wound, so that we can evolve into a more integrated, resolved version of ourselves. That's all to do with our inner family. So whether or not you're going to make that retreat, what I'm sharing in this video will be activating for you. And I am a galactic psychic and intuitive. So most of what actually comes through me, I don't even know is going to come through me until I start channeling. And that's a big pull for this retreat, is I was called to basically create the framework on a very, very special part of Santorini, which is where Pranathera is. And this is near Eros Beach. And this area is very powerful in the sense that there is a deep requirement for a healing of the father wound to occur there. And it's in everyone who's called to the land. And this is part of us evolving beyond the patriarchal wound, which is perpetuated by the feminine, by the way. So, all of us at this point, although it is said that we can grow babies outside of wombs, grow in a womb, and as a result of that are influenced by our maternal frequencies as much as we are influenced by the paternal. So this is a no blame video. It's just about how we evolve, and we actually take the lessons of our eternal nature. We take the lessons of the previous lifetimes when we have lived highly evolved spiritual lifetimes here on this earth, and we bring that knowledge, that wisdom, that gained mastery to this now moment and evolve beyond the wounding that is currently running our lives. So if you like the sound of that, please do hit the like button. I always appreciate your comments, your insights, how you resonate with what I'm saying. And, Atlantis is a very interesting theme, isn't it? Because it's supposedly a mythical land. It's a mythical story. And yet there are loads of us that channel and talk about the time of Lemuria and Atlantis. And we talk about it as a time when we were living initially in the Lemurian times in a balanced way between the masculine and the feminine, and also a balanced way between nature and humanity. And then in the Atlantean era, it is said that, we started to have more evolved technology. There was extraterrestrial influence, some positive, some not so positive. And this was when the great downfall of Atlantis came about, because the abuse of power ultimately is what happened. And the very beautiful gifts that we have on this earth, like crystals as an example, started to be utilized in a way that ultimately led to the great fall, the big demise that was the cataclysmic event that, well, some will call, the fall and the start of other times, the patriarchal era in particular. So what I want to speak to is how us remembering what we need to now about Atlantis relates to our pre-birth influences and why we came into this world, to the parents, the bloodlines we chose to come into, why we had the kind of birth we did, whether it was easy or challenging, most likely challenging, how the time in the womb actually shaped us, particularly challenging things that we experienced, and how our earliest influences, our time from being newborn through to the first 7 years of life and all we experienced in that time, got us to create limiting decisions, to make limiting decisions that then created limiting beliefs, and how all of those challenges are actually set up by our soul consciousness as we choose to incarnate into human form, so that we can seek out the healing, we can seek out the support required in order to remember the mastery that as star seeds we have come to this earth to reactivate. And as a result of that, support our bloodlines that are the ancestors that we have been born to clear their karma drama, the family drama that passes from one generation to the next. So we become the catalyst for change and we stop repeating this trauma through our own journey. And the bigger picture with this is that as a collective consciousness, we can evolve beyond the patriarchal wound. So I've had a couple of really interesting conversations with my clients over the last few days. And in fact, everyone I've spoken to is either coming to the Santorini retreat or has been thinking about it. And it's how we deal with the challenges, the resistance that comes up. So here's the deal. None of us can really say for sure what happened in Atlantis, right? There are lots of us who channel information. And when I talk about the Paradise Earth codes, I'm talking about the codes of our planet, that are the codes that were before we lived in this conflicted state, in the idea that war and struggle and suffering is the norm. There was a time that this planet, when it was first created, was intended to be a planet of choice. It was intended to be a living library for all the different species and creatures in this universe to coexist. And it was also intended to be a place where we learned to co-create in physical, because as non-physical beings, we can create instantly. But in a physical, dense reality, we actually have a time lag between having an intention and then it manifesting in physical reality. We also learn, as any of you who are on a manifesting path, who are into law of attraction or co-creating, that there are lots of things that can limit our co-creations, our manifestations, can block them. And so it's how we relate to resistance, or resist dance, as I talk about it. Now, last year, I went to Santorini. I followed a hunch. For a long time, I've had a calling that came as a result of my mum. This is how these things are seeded. I had a picture of her having been on the island of Santorini, and I've always wanted to go. If you don't know me, I'm 3/4 Greek, so it's in my blood to, basically go to Greece regularly to visit my family, but I'd never been to Santorini. And last year I said to my beloved Ian, I was like, right, let's go somewhere we really want to go, rather than where we think we can afford, or, where it's going to be better to see our friends or our family. Let's just go where we want to go. I want to go somewhere that I can really relax, I can be really nourished, And that will be a little bit different. And it was like, do I want to go to a swanky spa type place where it's all about what I look like and I can have the kind of massage that isn't really, nourishing my soul? Or can we find somewhere that I feel I could go and do yoga by the pool if I want to and not feel like everyone's watching me? I can participate in therapies and healings that are going to really nourish my soul. I gave him the directive. He found Pranathera, beautiful place. Put the link for you to check out. And we went there. Now, I won't go into the stories as to what happened, because if you follow the retreat link, you'll meet Greg and you'll hear how we almost didn't end up there, how he almost cancelled our booking and why. But in the end, we did go there. And what I absolutely was blown away by as a result of visiting this place was how the ancient, the eternal, and the present day me were all converging. And, this part of the island looks nothing like the rest of the island. If you've got in your head, white churches with blue tops and, bougainvillea everywhere, this place looks more like a moonscape. It looks more like Arizona. It's sandstone everywhere, right? Anyway, we went there. We had a very profound experience. And actually, on the way there, I had a paternal wound that had been ripped wide open. Not going to go into the details, but I was pretty broken when I got there. I saw how pride in the masculine, particularly the father energy, can really cause tremendous pain to the children and to the descendants. And how pride ultimately is very, how do I put it, eroding, right? And also how it really blocks our ability to see and to feel our hearts. It keeps us out of our hearts. And so many cultures are built on pride, right? The pride of where we come from, the pride of our culture, our religion, the things we stand for. And so many people pay lip service to their religion, to their culture, to doing things because that's what you do, without fully appreciating and valuing the depths of it. I don't want to digress too much on this, but what I do want to say is that I was around a lot of masculines, not all of them Greek, but the one thing that seemed to be in common was there being pain around the father or the paternal energy or even the paternal bloodline. And, the energy of the masculine, think of it, it relates to father divine, right? Most of us, well, in fact, the whole patriarchal era is about, if you have any kind of religious indoctrination or resonance, is around a male god. It's not around a female god. God is male according to the religions that we have in today's age. And so our relationship to our father is very much, our physical father relates to how we perceive the divine. Is he judgmental? Is he two-faced? Does he provide? Is he conditional? Will he punish me? How do I gain his favor? How do I show up in a way that I'll be loved, I'll be approved of, I'll be accepted? And this relates to patriarchy and the era we're all evolving beyond, which is giving our power away to others, to external authority, and seeking external validation. Now, this is how what I'm talking about relates to Atlantis and the wound. Those of us who are healers, who are activating our starseed energy in this earth, those of us who are on a path of ascension, because you might not resonate with being a healer. Maybe you're a therapist, you're a teacher, maybe you're a way shower, maybe you're an influencer, maybe you're a person who seeks to do good, a philanthropist in this world. You want to support the world to be a better place, support humanity to be happier and healthier. To me, anyone who resonates with this kind of message is basically a starseed. And that means we've come in with a frequency of consciousness to this earth plane that is a higher frequency than the density of this planet. We've come to bring these higher frequencies of unity, of harmony, of love, of acceptance, of creating solutions rather than constantly being in conflict, of deferring to the heart rather than the mind. Like we're bringing all of this wisdom with us to reseed it into this earth plane. And this is part of this Paradise Earth Code awakening. So I do believe intuitively that those of us who are here doing this work have all experienced time in Atlantis before the fall, maybe during the fall. And one of the things I read a long while ago that really resonated with me, that was that the spiritual teachers, those who were the priests, priestesses at the time of Atlantis that could see what was coming and did everything they could to warn those who were not seeing what was coming, not seeing, like in today's age, the potential impact of, technology advances being really destructive rather than helpful to humanity. Very similar time what's going on right now, right? Those who could see the potential destruction that was ahead got to a point that they knew it was inevitable. And so what they did was they embedded all their knowledge and their wisdom and all that they had learned in the time of evolving and growing into greater spiritual awareness as humans and soul consciousness connected into the crystalline kingdom. And that's why I was holding my celestial, as I made the thumbnail for this video. So these crystals that kind of hold the codes and the memories of us when we incarnated in previous lifetimes in Atlantis, only to be activated when we have proven to ourselves that we will not abuse this power. And we test ourselves. That's why so many of us on this earth plane who are here seeking to support this planet's evolution and humanity's evolution have a really tough time. We test ourselves again and again. We struggle in relationships. We struggle with money. We struggle with health. We struggle with our spirituality. We do this not because we're martyrs, not because we want to suffer for the sake of it, but because we're challenging ourselves to make sure that we hold the line of integrity and accountability and transparency no matter what. And so that when we do reclaim our power, we won't abuse it, because we know that it's very easy for power to be abused, that power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. These statements are there for a reason. I remember hearing when I was 19, the abuse of power comes as no surprise. No one's holding you accountable. If no one's actually saying to you what you do behind closed doors matters, what happens? Well, we're living through what happens. Tremendous systemic corruption everywhere, right? Because ultimately, as humans, we're fallible, right? But we are coming to the point in time. This is the age of Aquarius. It is the resurgence of Atlantis, where there are many of us who've chosen to come back. Some will know us as the 144,000. We've come back to reactivate sacred union, divine union, twin flame union, whatever else this means to you, so that we can reseed and reactivate the paradise earth codes that are already in the crystals, they're already in the land, but they've been dormant, just like they're in our cellular memory and in our DNA, but they've been dormant for so long. We have to repair the 12 strands of our DNA. 10 of those are crystalline, right? So that we can actually remember, we can receive the rainbow flame, okay? Now, the rainbow flame came through me back in 2017, 2018, around the same time that my guides gifted me the star salutation, which activates your divine architecture. And if this is new to you, check out my multidimensional yoga, which I offer online. I'll put a link for you to check out, because anyone who's operating with the chakra system presently, wakey, 7 chakras keep you stuck in the 3rd and 4th dimension. We have to activate our soul chakra and our earth chakra. It's really, really important for us to download the frequencies that activate our light body, which is our Merkaba field, and help us to see where we are unresolved internally, our inner masculine, inner feminine, inner teen, inner child, and inner infant. So we can then resolve, we can integrate ourselves, we can bring light to our shadow, and we can evolve our inner family. So our light body can evolve from 6-pointed star to diamond shape. This is all part of our divine architecture. It's how I see it as an intuitive and a psychic, bringing through the star piece codes from the Intergalactic Super Federation. Now, I wasn't given all this information in one go. I had to be ready for each bit, just like I didn't know that rosy glow as a frequency, which is the frequency of divine grace, is a galactic consciousness. So, all of us, when I talk about superpowers and activating superpowers, will only activate the next level of our ability to see beyond our 5 senses, to be in this world and have a higher sense, a higher consciousness activated when we're ready, when we've proven to ourselves through endurance, through encountering obstacles and challenges, that actually we're worthy of the next level of our mastery, that we are not going to abuse it. And this is where I take you to the early influences and these limiting decisions we make very early in our lives, which usually happen at some point in the womb or during a challenging birth experience, or when we're really, really new babies and maybe we were not put on our mothers and our dads straight away. We didn't get the skin to skin. We were taken to a nursery. We were left to cry. And we formed these decisions very early on that we weren't worthy, we weren't deserving, that, our needs weren't important, that we were invisible because no one was responding to us, that we didn't matter, we didn't count. And these decisions form then beliefs that we live our lives by. And this is the limited mindset. This is the ego programming, the conditioning that keeps us stuck in the fear matrix. Now, to activate the Paradise Earth codes that are already there in our cellular memory and in the land, we have to trust ourselves. We have to move beyond doubting in what we cannot see. Okay, we learn that as part of the co-creation manifesting process, we have to believe before we see. We have to conjure the energy of already being where we want to be, already experiencing through the power of our imagination the reality that we would like to experience. And then the way the infrastructure is created, the scaffolding around our current mindset, existence, and experience starts to be created. And then we need to feed it, which is why our divine architecture is so important. Now, in order for us to truly remember our mastery from the Atlantean times, because, we were way showers, we were highly evolved beings in physical form, way more evolved than we are currently, right? In terms of the technology that existed on this planet, it was way more advanced than it is currently. And yes, there was extraterrestrial influence, both nefarious and positive, as in helpful. That's something that more and more disclosures coming out about that. I'm not going to get into it, but ultimately, we're here now to find the balance between technology, nature, and humanity, and the ET influences, if you like, because if in our universe, the truth is the light has won, and we feed that as our chosen reality, we will see it here on this planet, and we will do a really quick cleanup job of everything that is resistant to that truth. So all the war, all the conflict, all the suffering that currently still exists. But we need to remember our mastery quickly. And this is why, in order to be able to do it, there's a few things we need to do. One is we need to remember that in our seeking external validation and approval, which is the patriarchal wound and the father wound, we rob ourselves of really trusting our inner authority, and we rob ourselves of trusting ourselves and believing ourselves as well as believing in ourselves. We can't create a new earth paradigm by constantly looking for external validation, because unless you haven't noticed, every time innovation has come about on this planet, it's never been met with, oh, wonderful, great. It's always been met with resistance first, with denial, resistance, pushing away. And those of us who are here to support the light, that let's call us the light bringers and the light earthers. In previous incarnations, we were kind of killed, tortured, persecuted for bringing the messages of the divine to this earth. So we're a little resistant and hesitant to speaking up and going, hey, you know what? That's not the way anymore. We could do better than that. And for me, it's the difference between calling things out and bringing light to. It's all about, like, money is not good or bad. It's how we use it. Energy isn't good or bad. It's how we use it. Crystals aren't good or bad. It's how we use them, right? Everything is down to the intent. That is what defines what is happening moving forward, and whether we experience a personal and collective paradise or a personal and collective hell and purgatory, right? So in order for us to be able to activate the Paradise Earth codes and to remember our Atlantean wisdom and mastery, we're going to have to unlock the early life decisions and beliefs that we made. So we're going to need to recognize what is unique to each of us. Like one of them, for example, that I've seen play out again and again, and it's really embedded in the patriarchal paradigm, is, I don't even want to say it, but that we are inherently bad, that we are inherently not good, undeserving, unworthy, that we're born sinning. Right? This is woven into our religious stories for the most part. And God forbid you're a woman. I mean, we're even worse, right? So according to those particular models and structures. And I feel the divine comes through everyone and everything if we seek it. But we have to remember that, the way that we've been told to worship the divine or to align with the divine is through human comprehension, which is blinkered, and particularly male human comprehension, which again is restricted. Okay, it's not all-encompassing, it's not omnipotent. So I'm not saying that the matriarchy was either the answer. We're coming into uniarchy. We're coming into a balanced time now of our inner masculine, inner feminine, inner teen, child, and infant aligning. Okay, so everyone has their part to play inside of us in the co-creation of a chosen reality. But what we're going to need to do is discover and uncover and rewrite the beliefs and the decisions that have been limiting us to this point. Because what I'm seeing a lot of light workers and star seeds do at this point is wanting to create a new paradigm, but wanting to take their old beliefs with them. Oh, I need to be approved of. Oh, I need everyone to like me. Oh, I need to not rock the boat. Oh, I need to say this gently. And I've been guilty of it too, right? You know, I've found it challenging just to speak up and really say what I see. Like the kid in The Emperor's New Clothes that dared to say, the Emperor's naked. Can't anyone see it? Right? So what we want to get to here is, how do we do this? Now, this is why I was called to Santorini, and this is why I wanted to talk with you about this, because whether you join me for the retreat, which is the 1st to the 6th of May, 2023, like it's now, next month, like literally, hello, if it's for you, you're going to be like, I need to go and I need to do this, and you will let me know ASAP, and I'll put the link for you in the text box. Basically, we're going to be working with decoding our pre-birth influences. So last year I was gifted a way to do that. My areas of speciality and expertise are in conception, pregnancy, birth, postnatal and neonatal and early life influences, how to become aware of them, how to detox and reprogram them so that we're actually operating from our higher self rather than our wounded self. And that's what all my coaching programs are about. But I was called to bring together this 6-day, 5-night retreat for those who are ready to explore their pre-birth influences. So you'll have some questions to answer ahead of time that will then give me the information I need to be able to then support you to become aware of and to detox and reprogram those decisions and beliefs whilst we're together in physical. If you haven't been around me, it's very potent energy. Like if you are resisting truths about you, they come to light when you're around me. And typically when people are open enough, they'll feel what they have been suppressing. But if they're not open enough, I'll feel it for them and I'll let them know. And that's, it takes a lot for me to actually stand in my truth and own that, and to be able to do that in a way that's loving, compassionate, and discerning, because ultimately I'm not going to suffer for you. I'm going to be a mirror for you and go, hey, are you aware of this? And it's all done with absolute love, because what I do is I support people to birth their soul into their physical bodies. I'm a doula in this physical reality. You could say a midwife of the soul, whatever works for you. But essentially, if you want to bring your higher self into your physical reality and live by your higher self consciousness, then you have to let go of the limiting decisions and beliefs that have been holding you back. Become aware of them, bring them to light. And what we're going to be doing with that framework, because we're going to have lots of beautiful things we do every day, including both masculine and feminine forms of yoga. We're going to have light language at sunset and healing transmissions occurring every sunset. We're going to have a visit to a village that is basically an ancient village in Santorini that holds, again, the energies to activate memories for us. We're going to also be visiting the volcanic springs, because there's volcanic springs, have a lovely boat trip with that. But we're going to have a deep session every day, as well as time around the fire and cacao ceremonies. And in those deep sessions is when I'm going to be bringing forward the information from Atlantis. I'm not just going to be doing it, you're going to be doing it with me, because we're all the code keepers. I'm like how do I describe it when I'm talking with my clients? I say I'm an interface for their higher self-consciousness. So I can hold the energy that is a mirror for them to reactivate. It's a mirror for you to reactivate what you already know. So we're going to be using the powerful energies of Beltane and the full moon in Scorpio to integrate shadow and light, and to allow the light to transmute the shadow, to own it, to come back to totally letting go of abandonment, betrayal, and rejection. So as we bring in the Paradise Earth codes, as we activate them, we get really super clear on our soul purpose, the next part of our soul purpose, the next part of our soul mission. And, I know in my experience, I've had layers. First of all, it was to have my beautiful daughter. Like, she was in my energy field from the age of me being 8 years old. Then very quickly, it was to run a yoga business called Enjoy Yoga. Then after that, Rosy Glow came about as a result of a cacao ceremony. And then I came into coaching and multidimensional coaching and reality crafting. And then, the next level was bring in sacred union, heal your relationship dynamics so you can actually have the relationship you long for. Brought that in. Then the next level from that was boom, 2020, the year of the fear detox, seeing clearly where we're programmed, and the Star Peace mission. And honestly, you'll get given, it's like Mission Impossible. This is your mission should you choose to accept it. And it's really up to you, whether you're going to accept it or not. So those of you who are called to learn more about your Atlantean lifetimes, whether they're memories running through your bloodlines, or whether they're memories that are coming through past lives, or both, because that's the likelihood, clearing up the muck so you can see clearly and claim your mastery, claim your gifts, your superpowers, is then what's going to allow you to create the space. And we're going to have lots of rest and relaxation time when we're together as well, so that you can actually receive the next level of your mission. Because most of us are just too busy running around thinking we're doing what we're meant to be doing, but actually we're avoiding the discomfort of knowing there might be a more graceful, easy, and joyful way to share our gifts with this world. If you're under the illusion that you're here to save the world, that you're here to fight for change, that you're here to help make the world a better place through you suffering, this is not for you, okay? Because we're not here to do that. It took me a long time to clear that martyr wound from my own beingness and to realize, yeah, I'm here because I want to be here. I volunteered to come here, and I'm here to create through joy. I'm here to create as much grace and ease in my life and be a shining example for others. First of all, to be a bit like, ooh, get her. How did she get so lucky? Then to realize there's no luck involved here. This is me being determined to co-create a reality that I wanted to align with, rather than the suffering legacy I had inherited. And that's what you're being called to as well. So you're New Earth pioneers, you are New World leaders, soul-led leaders, heart-centered humans that want to bring in more of your soul consciousness. You're ready to create a new game, right? We're not just game changers, we're creating new games. We're conceiving new realities into being, because we don't keep focusing on chatting on the problem all the time. We take the problem, we create solutions, right? We're focused on using our imagination to birth a new reality. That's what Star Peace Utopia is about. We know what we don't want. So from what we don't want, we can work out what we do want. It's like a platform, okay? And this is such a big part of the work that I do, as we unplug from the fear matrix and we plug into the divine matrix. So one of the other lessons that came through working with my clients was, if you're used to going with the flow, and if something isn't flowing, then it's not meant to be. Sorry, sweetheart. At this level of evolution, you got to accept that the next level of if you can imagine us growing and evolving into more of our self-mastery, is like learning a level of a computer game and getting to the point that you've mastered that computer game. Then you get to the next level. So in the level before, part of the rules were go with the flow, and then you'll always know where you need to orientate. But then you get to the next level of the computer game, and that's not part of the rules anymore. In fact, the more resistance you have showing up, the more you know you're going the right way, because the shadow elements that have been hidden, have been compacted, have been sediment for so long, actually now need to be addressed in order for that wall of illusion and delusion to come down. I see so many sacred femmes, so many women who are campaigning for empowerment of women, and all it's not just women, it's all inclusiveness. It's moving beyond duality, beyond suffering, beyond struggle, beyond judgment, beyond all the different inconsistencies that occur in this world. But it's about smashing through that glass ceiling. No, that's not a feminine energy. That's not the divine femme energy. We slide it back. We don't need to smash through it. When you actually see something for what it is, it dissolves. Just like when we cry our tears, the ice that we've been holding inside of us that has kept us blocked starts to melt. Now, I'm not saying divine femme is better than divine masculine. I'm not saying sacred femme is better than sacred masculine. I'm not saying that there isn't a place for uniarchy, the divine child, gender neutrality, all of it. But let's remember the power of the womb. Let's remember the power of the heart, the power of the mind. There's a place for everything, dear ones. It's not either or, it's and this and more. Every one of us is a unique piece of the puzzle, a unique spark of the divine, a unique droplet in the ocean. Let us not try and all be the same. We're not meant to be. Let's celebrate our diversity. Let's celebrate our uniqueness, and let's seek to harmonize. Okay, we don't all have to be the same. But what we do need to do is claim our own unique part to play. And that's what the gifts of Atlantis, the Paradise Earth codes are all about, of becoming aware of the earliest influences that thwart us and being able to reprogram them. So instead of being constantly shut down by the beliefs that the decisions, the beliefs that we created, we then open the door and we can move forward. And letting go also of the need for this constant external validation, which is what gives our power away and stops us being sovereign. That's what we're being invited into. That is what the Aquarian age is about. That is what we are evolving to. So if you are liking the sound of all of this and you are excited about coming along, there is really no time to waste. Just check out the link in the text box. There's 3 videos. There's a PDF which has the itinerary. It has all the costs in it. It has when and where. And all you need to do, if you're serious about it, is get in touch, book a call. My intention is by mid-April to gather everybody for the Zoom session for us to start talking about downloading the early influences information that's required for me to have ahead of us starting the retreat. I can't do it last minute. So I'll be offering everybody a connection call together where we get to know each other. We'll be going through the questions. I'll let you know what else you need to do in preparation. And then once you've actually done that, we're all going to be meeting in Santorini at Pranathera on the 1st of May. We'll be there until the 6th. We will have some really beautiful, amazing ancient Greek food, different to what you might have heard of before, but really, really amazing. Amazing wine, amazing scenery, amazing time together, fire time together, cacao ceremony time together, healing time together, light language time together, yoga time together. And there's the amazing Pythagorean healing bed there, sound bed as well, which is the only one in the world. Okay, like it's really going to be something special. So if you think it's going to be repeated again, it's not. I don't do anything twice. Okay, I get the downloads, never quite the same. So if you would like to participate, get in touch. I can't wait to speak with you. I'm sending you so much love. And if it doesn't seem available to you and it's not for you, please remember what I said here about the link between Atlantis, about your early life influences and those limiting decisions and beliefs, about the Paradise Earth codes and activating them, because it's not just in Santorini, which is where Atlantis was said to be. I mean, it was a huge landmass, okay? Atlantis will have broken up into different places now. But there's other places around the world that we're being called to activate the Paradise Earth Code. So if you are someone who has a space and you're feeling the call for them to be activated, do let me know. It was through my teacher, Susanna Kennedy, that I first started to receive this information about the Paradise Earth Codes myself, and how they come through me is unique to me, just like there'll be others who do their own work with it. But if you would like to host a retreat somewhere, let me know and we'll talk about it. Otherwise, just remember that if you want these energies, there's something in you that is going to need to dissolve, resolve, crack open, if you like. And that's the wall around the heart that each of us has to protect ourselves, that keeps us isolated, keeps us separate, keeps us feeling alone and lonely. And we don't realize, and this is the blind spot, how we're creating that ourselves because we're too scared to feel our own pain. If you are given the support to feel that pain, to move through it quickly, not to wallow in it, just to allow it to pass through you so it's not something you resist, because what you resist persists. That's where your liberation truly comes from. And if you're not going to be able to do this in the retreat in physical time with me, then there are ways to do it with me non-physically through the power of the internet and Zoom and all the coaching work I do online. So again, get in touch and let's have a conversation. I love you. I love you. I love you. Next Wednesday, over in this Manifesting Star Peace Utopia Facebook group, I'm going to be hosting the full moon in Libra world service and co-creation. It's personal healing as well. So I'll put the link for that there as well in the chat box below, or the text box below. Come and be part of the community. You get activated just by us speaking, just by me sharing this. You're amazing. I love you. I look forward to your comments. Thank you for subscribing. And let's bring these paradise earth codes, the star piece codes to this earth. Let's see us creating this phenomenal vision of a united world, a personal and collective paradise where each and every one of us gets to experience our own chosen reality in a community. How amazing would that be? I want to know what yours is. Love you lots. Take care.